What stood out to you?
You know what? Well, first of all, the greatness of Luka Doncic cannot be denied. There's no question about that. But what stood out to me is Porzingis, the 34, 12, and 5. He's coming along. This former New York Knick that is now a Dallas Maverick, okay? Averaging 34. He put up 34, 12, and 5 last night. The dude is 7'3". And with Luka Doncic being the threat that he is and the ability to create shots for others as well, Tim Hardaway Jr. is no scrub. I'm very fond of Tim Hardaway Jr. I've always liked him. I think you can expect some things from him. Seth Curry has been on a mini tear himself because the Currys, if we all know they can shoot. The family can shoot. If there was a Curry that couldn't shoot the basketball, that would be back page news because the Currys can shoot the basketball. And Seth Curry, who dropped 21 last night. The reason why this stands out in my mind, because the Dallas Mavericks, we've talked about the LA teams. Of course, we've looked at Houston. We can't ignore Denver. We threw Utah into the mix because Mike Conley Jr. was there as a point guard. We haven't mentioned Dallas at all. And if Dallas can get that level of production from Doncic, which we don't doubt, and Porzingis, it changes things in the Western Conference potentially for the first couple of rounds. In other words, we can view and see and upset somebody, but a top 3 seed potentially get knocked off.
If it ended right now, they'd be playing the Clippers, which will obviously change fluid.
I remember when that Porzingis trade happened, you guys were trying to beat me in the head about how now they're going to get KD and Kyrie or whoever else. And I tried to explain to everyone at the time, actually, when you have Tim Duncan or Dirk Nowitzki or Hakeem Olajuwon, you don't trade them on their rookie deal to clear cap space to sign other players. You build around them.
You're always right, Max.
No.
Come on.
No, that's not what the argument was. He was he basically said to them, "We want out."
Well, they did that. They messed that up.
And if you don't let me get out, I'm going to mess up your free agency.
Porzingis loved New York. He loved playing in New York. The Knicks spoiled that. Dolan ruined that. Okay, look. The reason I was so upset about that trade is because Kristaps Porzingis is the guy who in whatever conference he's playing in, every GM in the offseason has to say, how do we account for that guy? We're going to have to do something about him. When he went to Luka, I didn't think it was going to happen this year yet because off a catastrophic injury, you need a year to get back, and then you hit back to where you were if you ever regain that. And he was ascending still. If we get a better version of Porzingis than we've yet seen, and I have every reason to believe that will happen with Luka, this is a championship team. Minimum one. But they could have a dynasty. And then the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball, everyone gave up. D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, these number 2 picks, Brandon Ingram, all from the Lakers, as it turns out. Everyone's in such a rush nowadays. If they're not immediately great, even though Steve Nash took a while, this one took a while, they write them off. Lonzo Ball is balling. I mean, and because of the AD trade, you've surrounded Zion with young ascending pieces all around his age. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. Let me tell you something. What we saw last night, and it was the second of back-to-back on the road for the Pelicans. You can't take that into account in terms of their performance. What we saw could easily be the Western Conference Finals in 2 or 3 years on an ongoing basis, health permitting.
I don't disagree with any of that, and I have a well-earned reputation as being the king of hyperbole, and I think you could easily say that when LeBron and Anthony Davis, who are the best duo since Shaq and Kobe, move on to wherever they go next, the heir apparents to that right now feel like Luka and Porzingis. But I will take it a step farther than that, and I will say this. Seth Greenberg brought up a remarkable name this morning and a remarkable comparison this morning on our show on Get Up. He said Luka Doncic is Larry Bird. He reminds him of Larry Bird. We've been waiting for the next Bird. There's always a next somebody. There hasn't really been a next Bird. But if you look at Doncic, he's 2 inches shorter. He's 10 pounds heavier at the age of 21 than Bird was when he finished playing. He bullies people at his point guard position. His court awareness, his sense of all the things that are happening out there, his ability to shoot, his ability to get people involved. We've had the next this, the next that, and the next him. But we have not had the next Larry Bird in the NBA. And Stephen A., I think Luka Doncic is that guy.
Luka Doncic is special, and I think the thing that makes him special, he's got that swag about him. He wants it, all right? So he has that it factor. He ain't scared of the big moment. He actually craves it. And Rick Carlisle personally told me, he said, I became a smarter coach and we became a better team the second I came to my senses and said, what the hell am I doing? Here's the ball to this guy, rather than have him playing off the ball and what have you. He did that last February. So kudos to Rick Carlisle, a championship coach. But to get to the Lonzo Ball situation, I would ask we pump the brakes just a touch. He's averaging 12 and 7, 12, 7 and 6. That's what he's averaging. He's had 2 great games, the last 2. The first one was against Minnesota. Last night was against Dallas. A couple of games ago, he scored 2 points. A couple of games after that, he scored 5 points. Let's make sure we pump the brakes. I like Lonzo. My issue with Lonzo has been his assertiveness. The last 2 games, the level of assertiveness I've seen from him is what I've been looking for.
Lonzo Ball's a winning player. Forget about LeBron injury for a second. Actually, that team just fell apart and couldn't win with Lonzo's injury. Like, LeBron needed some help. He's a winning player. Guys love to play with him. Porzingis and Luka. Whether or not LeBron and AD stay together, Porzingis and Luka, if they stay healthy, they're coming to take it by force. I don't think it matters who else is there. Porzingis is 2 inches taller than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, plays defense like a monster, and can bomb from 3, take bigs off the dribble, defend in space. What can he do? And Luka, as you said, Luka's an MVP candidate
the one
already.
thing I would ask you to bring up, and I'm not saying that you're wrong about that. What I would tell you is that here's the reason why people have a hard time embracing Porzingis to the degree you do, okay? He's skilled, but they question whether or not he's soft. Not like soft, no heart. I'm talking about physically. Physically, all right? The thing about it is that today's game facilitates his greatness because, again, you can get a foul for having bad breath. You get a foul for having bad breath. So that's the NBA that we're playing in. And so you got guys that look at him and go like this, damn, yeah, he could play, but I bet you if you muscled him up. And you also got to take into consideration, even though come playoff time, they still are softer, there are games they let you play, and there are games they scale back.
Embiid is better than Porzingis right now. Check back in 2 years.
So before I go, can I just clarify for my friend Jay Williams that neither of you are willing to now capitulate to him and say he was right and you were wrong, Luka is the guy you'd start a team with?
There is no way in hell I will ever capitulate to Jay Williams when it comes to my opinions. Now, if I had to get on a basketball court against him, I would defer. But in terms of this realm, no, he capitulates and defers to me. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.